Have you ever wondered why clocks are adjusted twice a year in around 70 countries, including the USA, Canada, and Europe? In the United States and Canada, clocks are set back by 1 hour on the first Sunday of November at 2 a.m., and then move forward by an hour again on the second Sunday of March at 2 a.m. In Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and many other countries, this practice is known as daylight saving time, where clocks are adjusted twice a year. For some, this might be a minor inconvenience, simply adjusting their clocks and schedules accordingly. However, for others, this shift can be a significant disruption, as the clock changes can alter their sleep patterns and impact their daily routines. But behind this tradition lies a fascinating story spanning centuries, involving wars, energy crises, and even some humorous satire. In today's episode of Some Stories, we'll delve deep into understanding daylight saving time, DST, exploring its history and uncovering the reasons why daylight saving time became a widespread practice. Let's journey back to 1784, where our story begins with one of America's founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin. Many might know him for helping draft the American Constitution or for his famous electricity experiments. But did you know that the concept of daylight saving time was first suggested by Franklin? However, the idea Franklin proposed wasn't exactly like today's daylight saving time. In a satirical letter to the editor of a French newspaper, Franklin suggested a clever idea. If people woke up early in the summer to make use of natural sunlight, they could save on candle expenses. Franklin even humorously proposed firing cannons at sunrise to wake people up. But this wasn't an actual policy or rule, it was merely Franklin's playful jab at the habit of Parisians who like to sleep in late. In 1916, during World War I, Germany was searching for ways to conserve energy. To save fuel for the war effort, Germany became the first country to officially implement daylight saving time. By moving the clocks forward in the spring, they could make greater use of daylight, reducing the need for artificial lighting like candles and lamps in the evening, ultimately saving energy. The idea quickly spread. Britain and other European nations soon followed Germany's lead, and daylight saving time became a wartime necessity across Europe. The logic was simple. With clocks set forward, evenings had more daylight, reducing reliance on coal and oil-powered lights, an essential energy-saving move during the war. This conserved coal and oil could then be redirected to support the war efforts. 2 years later, in 1918, the United States joined in, passing the Standard Time Act, which included daylight saving time. However, the concept was not very popular then. When the war ended, the practice was discontinued in the US. But this was only the beginning. During World War II, which began in 1939, daylight saving time made a comeback, this time rebranded as wartime. In 1942, US President Franklin D. Roosevelt reintroduced it, and this time it remained in effect nationwide and year-round until the war ended in 1945. The goal was the same, to conserve energy for the war effort. After the war, however, the United States experienced significant confusion. Different states and cities adopted their own daylight saving rules, which led to chaos. If you were in one city where the clock was set an hour ahead, you might find that just a few kilometers away, another city was still on the previous time. People had to constantly adjust their clocks as they traveled, and this unpredictability frustrated many. Surprisingly, even in a developed nation like the US, this disorder continued for nearly 2 decades. Finally, in 1966, the Uniform Time Act was enacted in the United States. This law established a consistent national framework for daylight saving time, ensuring that states observing DST would do so at the same time each year. However, the law also allowed states the choice to opt out of DST, which is why states like Hawaii and most of Arizona do not observe daylight saving time today. Now you might wonder, does daylight saving time actually save energy? Here's where things get even more interesting. The initial purpose of adopting daylight saving time was to conserve energy, especially during wartime. But does it still serve this purpose? Studies on the matter are mixed. There is some evidence that DST reduces energy usage on lighting, but modern lifestyles have made this issue much more complex. Originally, DST was implemented to reduce the use of oil and coal-powered lighting. However, with the rise in air conditioning, TVs, and various electronic gadgets, the energy savings from daylight saving time are less significant. In fact, some studies have shown that in certain regions, DST can actually increase energy consumption. as people are more likely to use air conditioning in the warmer evenings, which ends up consuming more energy. There are mixed opinions on whether to continue observing daylight saving time. Despite its intended benefits, daylight saving time has always been a topic of controversy. Critics argue that it disrupts our body's natural sleep cycle, potentially increasing health issues like heart problems and sleep disorders. Parents also express concerns that DST creates challenges for school children. With the need to wake up earlier, children may struggle to get enough sleep, impacting their ability to focus, learn, and maintain good physical and mental health. The spring forward shift, which occurs on the second Sunday in March, is particularly impactful as the clocks move an hour forward. This means children have to wake up earlier in the morning light, often leading to fatigue and affecting their well-being. Certain industries like agriculture have never embraced DST. Farmers' schedules are dictated more by natural light than by the clock, and DST can disrupt their routines. For example, dairy farmers often find it challenging to adjust as cows don't respond to time changes, causing inconvenience in their work schedules. Supporters of DST argue that longer days give people more time after work to enjoy outdoor activities, which can positively impact lifestyle. Additionally, retail sales may see a boost as people are more inclined to shop with more daylight hours. Furthermore, DST is believed to reduce car accidents. Driving in daylight improves drivers' visibility, which can help decrease accident rates. But even today, the debate still continues over whether to keep or discontinue daylight saving time. Various countries, and even some US states, are considering making DST permanent or abolishing it altogether. For instance, states like Florida and California have already proposed to make it permanent. There are a mix of countries that follow DST and those that do not. Let's look into some of them. In the United States, most states observe DST, but there are exceptions like Hawaii and most of Arizona, which do not. Similarly, in Canada, most provinces observe DST, with Saskatchewan being a notable exception. All member countries of the European Union observe DST, although discussions about abolishing it are ongoing. In Australia, states like New South Wales and Victoria observe DST, while Queensland does not. Russia ended DST in 2011, and India and Japan have chosen not to adopt it, with Japan discontinuing the practice back in 1952. Whether people love it or dislike it, daylight saving time has become a part of modern life. This practice of moving clocks forward and back was born out of wartime needs and shaped by energy demands, and it continues to evolve. Will it last forever? Only time will tell. But for now, in places where DST is observed, those clocks will need to be adjusted twice a year. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you enjoyed this journey through time, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another intriguing story. Until we meet again, keep sharing the love and keep listening and telling stories. And as we go, if you're in a place that observes daylight saving time, remember to adjust your clocks.